Day 501 started with a familiar sight, fog, when I wanted to do some fighting. But I rolled on into Muldraugh. I was intent on clearing it. I went house to house looking for decorations and things for my new base. Oh, hello there. Sometimes it seemed like the fog was just as much my enemy as the zombies were. I was looting and pillaging my way across Muldraugh when I finally set off an alarm. I was amazed that it was still working after all this time, but I thought maybe I would use this to help clear out the area. So I hid in a local building and waited for the horde. While I was there, I might as well do some looting. The alarm did attract the horde I was looking for, but maybe this wasn't such a good idea, over-encumbered as I was with all my loot. So I snuck back to my car and deposited my goodies. And then it was time to fight. To keep things interesting, I kept switching weapons. They're coming out of the brickwork. The alarm didn't attract as many as I was hoping, so I did some shouting, and that brought him out of the trees. And then it was on to my next objective. Oh look, more zombies to kill. Don't mind if I do. Maybe I wasn't a very good zombie survivor, since I was actively seeking out zombies to kill. Maybe I should have been hiding, but where's the fun in that? I was starting to feel like a real zombie slayer. They barely seemed like a threat to me unless they were in really large groups. Like, maybe this group. Or maybe not. Why do they always go for my car? It's my car. Leave it alone. After a quick nap at my Muldraugh base, it was back to clearing out the city. Ooh, that was close. I was now over 15,000 zombies killed. But I wanted to go for 20. Little bit of a close call there, but I was able to zigzag through. Every time I thought I had cleared out an area, there were more. There are always more. It was about time to bust out the big guns. Literally. I hate it when they won't group up when I want them to. I seem to have an uncanny knack for getting myself into trouble, but fortunately, so far, every time I was able to get myself back out of said trouble. But when would my luck run out? How long could I keep this up? Maybe I should just play it safe. Nah. Where's the fun in that? The weather was starting to turn. It was starting to get cold. So I made the decision to take a drive. I drove back to my Riverside base. And after some clever manipulation of my inventory, I picked up my antique oven and brought it back to my West Point base. And then, of course, I needed wood for my antique oven. Wasn't going to do me any good without fuel. I wanted to clear out these trees anyways, for better line of sight around my base. Alright, break's over. Back to killing zombies. I started heading back north into Valley Station to resume clearing. The ultimate goal was Louisville. That sprawling mass. Look at them all running around. They're gone crazy. Where are they going? Death, that's where. Firearms, melee weapons, it didn't matter. I mowed them down. Day turned into evening. And evening turned into night, and still the dead marched on. Into the meat grinder that was me. I alternated back and forth between clearing Valley Station and Muldraugh. Things were going well. Muldraugh was pretty much cleared out. I had got a lot of the decoration as I wanted when it happened again. I missed and fell and broke my leg yet again. This was the third time since the apocalypse that I had fallen off a roof and broke my leg. When would I learn? Fortunately, back home I had some supplies to help with the healing, including a comfrey poultice and a splint. With nothing else to do but to wait for it to heal, I spent the next couple weeks hobbling around my base, doing maintenance, maintaining my farm and all of my supplies, and setting up a few more decorations. I was confined to my base for many days until finally I was once again healed. So I went on a zombie killing spree to celebrate. And the zombies obliged me. The thing about fighting zombies is that it doesn't matter if you kill one. The horde does not care. All the horde knows is that it will eventually get you. You may be able to outlast one zombie, sure, but can you outlast the horde? The vast, innumerable horde. You are but one man or woman, but they are infinite. They have all the time in the world, but one mistake, and you're done. And that's what they're counting on. Just that one mistake. Eventually, you'll make it. The horde has time to wait. But do you? See what I mean? I almost got it twice there. The infinite horde was wearing me down, as it always does. It's a war of attrition. Their numbers versus your will to live, your energy, your mental focus. Which will go first? This time, I outlasted them. But what about next? After days and days of killing, it was time for a break. I had the bright idea to secure my base with a fence. And to do this, I would need lumber. Lots and lots of lumber. I broke several axes, but kept on chopping. My base was already relatively fenced in, so I decided to take advantage of the choke points and started building walls between the fences. This was taking even more effort and more lumber than I thought it would, but it could be worth it to secure my safety. It took an entire day just to finish the easiest part of the wall. I was starting to rethink things. Sure, it was an added layer of security, but I was already pretty much 100% safe anyway, and this was a lot of effort. I decided a better use of my time would be to secure the lower level of my base. This would be more efficient and easier to get done. I walled in the areas zombies had destroyed. and I barricaded up all the lower level windows. Not only was this an extra layer of security, it would also alert me if anyone had broken in, because they would have to destroy the barricades first, and I would be able to see that right away. That task complete, I decided to go back to building the wall. I mean, it's not like I had anything better to do, right? It is the zombie apocalypse. It's not like I can sit around playing video games. I worked on this stupid wall for 2 or 3 days, and I had only made it about halfway into the parking lot. That's when I decided this just wasn't worth it. I had so much more to go if I wanted to complete it, and I really didn't. After being stuck inside for a few days due to cold, it was back to clearing out Muldraugh. Someone had to reclaim this place for the living, and I was the only one in sight, so I guess it was up to me. Muldraugh needed a hero, and there was no Captain America's or Batman's in sight, so I picked up my shovel and started shoveling away the undead. I really needed to do a better job of timing my incursions. I was kind of tired of fighting in the middle of the night, in the dark. You don't always get to pick and choose your battles, but against the undead, you really should. That's better. Now I can see. I can see zombies coming. Lots of them. Maybe I don't want to see what's going on. Whoop. I was having trouble hitting them as they were coming over the fence for some reason. It was finally starting to maybe seem like I had made a dent in the Muldraugh population. We might be just about done here. The hordes were getting smaller and smaller and less frequent. This had to be a good sign, right? Alright, I'm calling it. I don't see any more zombies. I am claiming that I have cleared Muldraugh of the undead and reclaimed it for the living. With Muldraugh cleared for the living, I set my sights back on the northeast to the mall. I wanted to visit the mall. I was hoping for a nice, happy trip to the mall, but the undead had other ideas. As they always do. It's always a tense moment when your weapon breaks in the middle of combat. I was almost grabbed, but I was able to sprint away and regroup. Eventually, I made it to the front gate. Oh, hey, a welcoming party. Yummies, you say? That sounds delicious. But that doesn't look delicious. Let me just remove this. Apparently there was a good movie playing on the day of the apocalypse. There were plenty of people at the cinema. Or, well, former people. Look at this massive sprawl of parking lot, and it was loaded with zombies just for me to kill. If you guys don't want the ice cream, I'll be happy to take it. Hey, this isn't so bad. Sure, there's a lot of them, but they're all spread out in these easy-to-manage groups. Sneaking. I've got a brilliant idea. This fossil oil truck has a light bar. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? First, we'll pop off with a shotgun shell to get things really started. And then you know what time it is. It's disco time! Yep, it had the wanted effect. Here come the zombies. You remember what I said earlier about, manageable? I think I spoke too soon. Let's pick off the guys on the outskirts here, and we'll see just how many that trap brings in. There's plenty for us to kill out here anyway. There's plenty of zombies for everybody. I mean, well, it's just me, so there's plenty of zombies for me. Clearing out this mall is a multi-day project, so I got started. I mean, even just clearing around the outside, round the outside, is a several-day project. No sense wasting any time. I love it when they're asleep on the job like that. Perhaps even I had learned my lesson, as I refrained from popping off with my guns, and just casually crept forward, slaughtering the zombies as I went. They were still being very polite and sticking to small, manageable groups. Remember what I said about learning my lesson? Well, apparently I didn't. The conga line was forming. And now they're streaming in from everywhere. I Might have made another mistake. Can I pull myself out of the fire this time? Oh man, that is a lot of zombies. This might be the most zombies I had ever seen at one time. Fortunately, my shotgun was up to doing some heavy lifting. And by lifting, I mean killing zombies. Re-deadening zombies, right? They're already dead. I wasn't even bothering with my melee weapons at this point. There was just too many. And I had brought lots of ammo. Guns. Lots of guns. Whoa. I know Kung Fu. I had perfected a new technique with the sawed-off shotgun. I could sidestep and shoot at the same time and still take out loads of zombies. The great thing about fighting in this parking lot is it is a huge open space, so I had plenty of room to maneuver. It seems like I always get into the most trouble when I have nowhere to maneuver. As long as I have space to move, I can always outrun the zombies. Or, you know, outwalk them. Is that a Supra? No time for that. There's zombies to kill. They had formed this nice straight line for me. If only I had an M16, I could really go to town. I was running low on ammo, so I had to resort to the melee. I was hesitant to do this against this many zombies, but I thought I could make it work, and so far so good. After all, I had whittled them down considerably with my firearms. Why was I adding more zombies to the group? Why? Why do I do these things? Nobody panic. Stop panicking. It's all good. Nobody panic. Not only was I running low on ammo, I was running low on melee weapons as well. I kept breaking them on zombie faces. I thought I was about done with the horde. And then I saw them. They were still inside the mall. Thousands of them. How many could there possibly be? Look at the carnage I had wrought. So many zombies slaughtered. So many zombies left. The only ammo I had left was for my rifle, so I figured I might as well use it. This was a dangerous situation. There were zombies on all sides. Strike 2. Got him. This strategy was working well for me so far, picking them off from long range with my rifle, and then switching to melee once they got into range. As long as there was no massive horde like I had seen before, I could handle it. Eventually, I fought my way up to the front door of the mall, to where I had left that fossil oil truck. And after getting rid of the would-be car thieves and ignoring the thousands of zombies stuck right inside the door, I found that the zombies had broken the light rail. I could no longer summon them with the light rail. But the horn would still work just fine. So I drove around the mall honking, trying to get the zombies out of the mall where I could fight them in the open. Whoops. That could have been a disaster. Now that I had summoned the horde, it was time to de-summon them? Banish them, yes. With violence. On and on we fought. This seemed like a hopeless task. I didn't think I would ever get into the mall itself. There were just too many zombies. So once again, I set my sights north and started clearing the road to Louisville. We are on the road to Louisville. It seemed like I had cleared them out pretty well when I was clearing through to Valley Station, so I didn't encounter too much resistance. I fought my way to the small warehouse on the outskirts of Louisville, where I thought to maybe set up a base for incursions into Louisville. It was right outside the checkpoint and would make easy entry. Plus, since it was a warehouse, there was plenty of opportunities to resupply and rearm inside. And I really liked warehouses to be able to make them secure bases. I could knock down the stairs and be completely safe, as well as set up a rooftop garden if I so desired. The road to Louisville is long and dangerous, and I was starting to see the remnants. It looked like people were trying to flee into the checkpoint when the apocalypse hit. There were ruined wrecks everywhere. And I was making more wrecks of zombies. After securing the area, I decided to make it easier on myself in future trips and worked on clearing the road of some of these wrecks. Or at least a path through the road that I could make my way through. I wasn't sure how many times I would make this trip, but it seemed worth it. Interruptions, interruptions. Always with the interruptions. I'm busy right now. Can you guys come back later? This was hard work for my poor little car, and the excessive engine noise was summoning the undead. But I thought it was worth it. I even used my car to push other cars out of the way. This was more time-efficient way to get the cars out of the way, but it was also damaging my vehicle, and I didn't want that. I was in sight of the checkpoint when I had a brilliant idea. I would use someone else's car to clear the road. I got one started. It was a miracle. And I proceeded to use that car as a battering ram. I just had to be careful not to damage myself in the process. Oh, I almost flipped it. Oh, not quite. I had cleared myself a path now. It was kind of fun being able to smash into things without worrying about the durability of my car. I was worried about my own durability, but that's okay. And apparently those barricades are very strong. Now that the path was clear, I would be back. With my Valley Station base set up and relatively secure, I started exploring the Valley Station area. Surprise, I found zombies. Goodbye, zombies. Whoop. Watch your six. I was trying to keep them out of the road, but they had other ideas. You going under my car? It's a dick move, man. If the zombies would ever let me get there, my first stop was supposed to be the hunting lodge. I wanted to check it out and maybe get some more ammo. It's the battle for the Valley Station Bridge. Spoiler alert, I won the battle. But the zombies had reinforcements on the other side. As they always do. Eventually, I made it through the rough terrain and through the zombies and made it to the hunting lodge. And I set about clearing the surrounding area. There were a lot more zombies than I was expecting. But nothing I couldn't handle. Perhaps I was overconfident, because I whipped out my guns and started blasting. And that summoned even more. Oh boy, did that summon more. In the trees, this was a bad idea. How could there be so many in this small, remote area? I didn't know, but somebody had to get rid of them, and it might as well be me. This was a lot more than I had bargained for on this trip. But there was nothing to do but fight on. Eventually, I fought my way back to the hunting lodge and decided to take a little bit more of a cautious approach. Somehow, there were still zombies inside. I didn't like fighting indoors, but if I could sneak up on them, I thought this was worth it. Ooh, where'd those come from? That's why I don't like fighting indoors. With the building secure, I started looting. I was after the guns and ammo. After that, I started heading towards the shooting range nearby. I had to fight my way through the undead once again. It wasn't quite as dramatic of a fight to get there as to get to the hunting lodge, but there were still a couple of close calls along the way. It only takes one mistake, and you're over. It's game over. Fortunately, today was not the day. I said, today is not the day. Zombies just don't get the hint. They always think today is the day. Area secure, I got what I came for. The guns and ammo. I was after 9mm, shotgun, and 308 rounds. Those are my 3 rounds of choice for my 3 guns of choice. After weeks of killing, it felt like Louisville was not any closer to being reclaimed. When my second Christmas all alone came, at least I was more comfortable than last time. I decided to take the day off from slaughtering the undead and played some of my arcade games, and a little bit of pool, and some pinball. And I celebrated by drinking the day away in my fully stocked bar. It was a nice day off, but how much more loneliness could I take? Was there anyone out there? I wanted to keep clearing the mall, but I was out of ammo, so I needed to resupply. So I made my way through Valley Station and headed into the checkpoint to Louisville. Oh look, zombies, of course. Not even the checkpoint for the military is safe from the scourge. Apparently, I am better than the military. I was killing the zombies, whereas the military had fallen. Oh look, they're guarding the gate. How nice of them. I actually thought there were going to be more zombies than this. Not that there weren't a lot of them, but this was my first foray into Louisville. Well, I guess this technically isn't Louisville itself, but I was a little underwhelmed. I did a little bit of exploring, and I killed all the zombies around. It looked like someone had turned while they were being treated by medical personnel. Yikes. Then I went tent by tent and found the ammo that I was searching for. I combed through dozens of tents and went through dozens of supply crates. And I restocked my ammo. Ooh, cool shades. Once I had restocked my ammo, I took that ammo and headed back to the mall and started clearing out the mall once again. I really wanted to get into that mall with all the goodies in there. The fog provided excellent cover for me as I sniped the zombies. The bad part was I couldn't see where I was, so I had no idea how close I was getting to the mall and the horde therein. I proceeded with caution. You know, other than popping off with my rifle. Man, was it foggy. Whew, I could barely see anything. There it is. I caught a glimpse of it through the fog. The horde. I kept trying to thin them down from range. There was too many to take in melee combat, especially with the fog rolling in and no visibility. The front door to the mall was in sight, and with it the endless horde. I continued to pick them off from range. They seemed just as hindered by the fog as I was. I had been killing zombies for a while now, but man, them creeping through the fog like this is still one of the creepiest things I could remember ever seeing. And then they start accelerating. Oh man. Now that is scary. Especially with their weird jerky gaits. They were just so unnatural. I wanted them gone. And they wanted me to join them. But only one of us would get their wish. For now, I was the one getting my wish, but eventually they would wear me down. It was only a matter of time. Overconfidence is the easiest way to get yourself killed, and I was overflowing with it. I walked right up to the entrance to the mall. How long could I hold back the tide? Not very long, as it turns out. I started fighting a retreat. The fog started to lift, but the fog of zombies did not. And as the fog lifted, I got my first peek at the carnage, and man, was it spectacular. So many bodies. And I kept adding to the count. It reminded me of one of those old war movies where you see the quote-unquote women picking through the survivors afterwards, trying to find their loved ones. And just like that, it was once again New Year's Day. This was my 3rd calendar year alone in the apocalypse, with no one but the zombies for company. And I was getting sad. After the holidays, it was time to set my sights on Louisville proper. I had conquered the western area, and there was nothing left for me but the massive sprawl of Louisville. I hadn't been super impressed with the number of zombies I found in the checkpoint. The refugee area was much the same. But once I started to get into Louisville itself, business started picking up. Block by block, I fought my way down the main highway of Louisville. Pizza World, get it? Like Pizza World, but it's World. So funny. Plunky. Whatever the hell that is. And we were back on the road again. Oh my, look at this traffic jam. Holy cow. Everything I had heard about Louisville was true. Wow. Look at all these zombies. Watch out behind you. This battle could go on and on, so I decided to set myself a temporary little base in a 2-story house with relatively well fenced-in area off of the highway. First I secured it. It was relatively zombie-free. At least the inside was. Then I added escape ropes and dismantled the stairs with my sledgehammer. I now had a place I could safely sleep the night away in Louisville. For extra security, I barricaded up the doors and windows. I wanted to keep my lower level safe as well. That done, we were back on that grind, clearing out the zombies. I made clever use of fencing to shoot the zombies from safety. And then shot them from no safety. Watch out behind you. And then, of course, smashed them in the face when they got too close. I was now over 20,000 zombies killed. But I wanted more. Could I get to 25? Could I get to 30? How many zombies were there? A lot. The answer is a lot. On and on, we carried on, the dead and I. For, I want to say about 3 weeks, I went back and forth between my bases and into Louisville and fought my way through Louisville. I slaughtered thousands of undead. but it didn't seem like I was making a dent. Hey, I scared those away. They had heard of me, I guess. I scouted the area for a new base or anything I could loot, but pretty much all I found were the zombies. There's some nice houses in this neighborhood. Or at least they used to be nice houses. I spent extra time in the nice neighborhood because I thought maybe I would move there. I was thinking about it, but my West Point base was just so nice, I was so comfortable. 1 year and 7 months into the apocalypse, I was at a crossroads. I loved my base. It had everything I needed, and I was comfortable. But to make any more progress, I knew I needed to move on. I was spending too much time driving back and forth to Louisville, so I decided to pack up and move to Louisville. I knew it would take many trips back and forth to gather up everything I wanted, so for my first trip, I used my everyday car to tow my big mover van. I ran into a little bit of a snag at the bridge and had to drive them both separately across. But once across, we were able to get moving again. I ran into a surprising amount of zombies, considering I thought that I had cleared the road. It took me a while to clear them out, especially considering I had done this multiple times already. But eventually, I made it to my new chosen home, a beautiful mansion on the river in northeastern Louisville. I spent a couple of days unloading and organizing from my trip. After depositing my loot, I decided to head back with just the mover van, which had taken a little bit of damage during the trip. I stopped at a matching van along the way and took some parts from it to repair my vehicle. And just like that, my car was back to looking almost brand new. During the drive home, a blizzard hit. After I made it back to my base, I decided to wait out the blizzard in the comfort and safety of my warehouse base. Or maybe it was just nostalgia. I was going to miss this base. It had everything I needed. And I had worked hard on it. Either way, I had made the right choice. Look at this weather. Man, it's terrible out here. Took a couple days, but the blizzard finally ended, so I packed up my moving van along with a trailer loaded full of stuff and headed back to Louisville. There were much less zombies on the road this time around thanks to my previous efforts. Still some, but less, which was good because I wasn't in any shape to fight given how much stuff I was carrying. I slammed my car into a barricade on the way and suffered a serious wound. I was hoping I could make it back to my new base and stitch it up before it became an issue. It was bleeding very badly, and I was going through all the bandages I had on me, but I was almost home. I made it just in time. I got home, and I found my first aid kit, and I stitched up my wound before I bled out. Now I needed to move in, so I spent the next few days, weeks even, moving in and getting myself established. After moving in, my first order of business was to secure my safety, and the first step with that was to build a front gate. I wanted to use metalwork so that I could see through it to make sure there were no zombies on the other side, and I would also be able to poke them with a spear from the safety of the fence if they came close. With my front door secured, my next order of business was chopping down all the trees in my yard to increase visibility and to finish the walls in the back of the house. I built nice log walls to keep me safe on my back door. Perimeter secure. Next up, I needed to set up my water containers so that I would have clean, renewable water. So I set about building a outside second story porch. Next up, I built my water collector barrels and set my generator up. And then I plumbed my sink. I started putting in my garden in the backyard, but it didn't turn out the way I wanted, so I took it out again. One of the great things about this house that I had chosen is that it had a fireplace. I would not freeze to death this winter. I loaded it up. Might as well load up the barbecue also. I wasn't sure what I needed more urgently, to get my water supply up and running or to get the farm in, so I continued working on my balcony. I wanted to put tons of water collectors in so I would never run out of water. To that end, I built a stairway up to a second level for my outdoor balcony, where I would put the water collectors for the upstairs bathroom. I kept going back and forth, but eventually I decided that I had enough water for the immediate future, and I needed to get my farm up and running so that I would have food in the future. And then I planted my seeds. I like to have a mix of crops, so I planted a little bit of everything. While I waited for rain and for my crops to grow, I figured I should clear the area around the base so that I wouldn't be attacked. And while I was at it, I might as well loot the surrounding areas for any supplies I could use. It's not like anyone else was going to use this stuff. And it was my civic duty to get rid of the trash. I mean, zombies. Oh, hi there. I didn't realize anyone was home. Oh, bathroom's occupied. My bad. After spending some time clearing out the surrounding area, I felt much more secure in my base. So I continued building and working on it. I knew I would walk off this edge if I wasn't careful, so I made sure to build a little fence to keep myself from doing that. See, I knew that was what was going to happen. I knew it. This was the 4th time I had fallen off my roof and broken my leg since the zombie apocalypse. Would I ever learn? But there was nothing I could do about it except splint myself up and keep carrying on. For the next several weeks, I was stuck around the house while I healed up, so I took advantage of the downtime to get some little things done that I had been neglecting, like, you know, my hair. And I just took a minute to just breathe and just take it all in. I had been fighting and building and surviving for so long. It was nice to just sit for a minute with nothing else to do. I caught up on some movies that I had meant to watch but never had the time. This is the life. Sitting in front of the fireplace with a good movie on and a nice can of chili. Can't beat it. This is the most content I'd felt since the apocalypse. This was a great time to work on my fishing skill and catch up some fish to eat. What's your order? Fish fillet? It was a week or two, and I was starting to get very nervous. It had not rained yet since I had set up my farm and my water collectors. I didn't know how much longer I could survive without rain. Not only my lack of food, but also my lack of water could become an issue soon. But finally, at last, on day 597, it rained. Glorious, glorious rain. It would fill up my rain collectors, water my crops. I bathed in it, I drank it, and I just generally blessed the rains down in Kentucky. Day 600. 1 year, 7 months, and 25 days into the apocalypse. I was still going strong. I had reconquered all of Knox County except for Louisville, that massive sprawl of Louisville, but I was working on it. I had taken a foothold and was expanding my power base. I had killed almost 22,000 zombies. And my skills, well, I was pretty much a master at everything.